I found out my wife was cheating with my sister-in-law's husband. The same week we got invited to host Thanksgiving for both families. 4 months later, I served them all the truth alongside the turkey and watched 2 marriages and a business partnership die at the same table. If you got some time and maybe something to drink, settle in. Because this story doesn't have a clean ending. It doesn't have heroes. It just has the truth. And the truth, as it turns out, ruins everything it touches. So why did I wait 4 months to expose them? Why not confront them immediately? Why orchestrate this whole thing like some kind of corporate presentation? I'll tell you why. Because the moment I found that first piece of evidence, I realized something. I'd built my entire life on trust. My marriage, my business, my family relationships, and they'd built their affair on my foundation. So if everything was going to collapse, it was going to collapse on my terms. Let me take you back to before I knew, before everything shattered. Because you need to understand what I thought I had before you can understand what I lost. People ask me now if there were signs. Of course there were signs. I just didn't want to see them. That's the thing about trust. It makes you blind to the obvious. My name's Robert Mitchell. I'm 35, and 6 months ago I thought I had it all figured out. I was married to Jennifer. Beautiful, outgoing, the kind of woman who lit up every room she walked into. We'd been together for 6 years, married for the last 4. No kids yet, but we talked about it. Soon, she'd always say, when the time is right. I'm a financial analyst by training, which I know sounds boring as hell. And, honestly, it kind of is, but it's also what made me good at what I did next, being CFO of a tech startup. My business partner David and I had co-founded this company 3 years ago. Marketing automation software, if you care. We had 8 employees and we were about to close a $2 million Series A funding round. It was everything we'd worked for. David. Let me tell you about David. He was my brother-in-law, married to Jennifer's older sister Jessica. David was 38, charismatic as hell. The kind of guy who could sell ice to Eskimos. He handled sales and investor relations while I dealt with the numbers and operations. We were the perfect partnership. CEO and CFO, big ideas and execution. Brothers-in-law building an empire together. We were close, our families. Jennifer and her sister Jessica were tight, talked every day. David and I spent more time together than most married couples. Sunday dinners at least twice a month, alternating houses. Holidays always together. We'd even bought a lake house together 2 years ago. Split it 50-50, this little cabin out at Lake Travis. The plan was to retire our wives early, spend summers at the lake, grow old as families intertwined. I was the quiet one in our group. Jennifer was the social butterfly. David was the charmer, and Jessica. Jessica was more like me. Quieter, thoughtful. She worked as a product manager at a tech firm, kept to herself mostly. We got along fine, but Jennifer and David were always the loud ones, the center of attention at every gathering. I was okay with that. I liked being the stability, the rock, the one everyone could count on. Looking back now, I can see how perfectly positioned that made me. The boring, reliable one, the one who'd never suspect, the one they could lie to without losing sleep. The first real crack appeared about 4 months before I found the truth. It was late June, a regular Sunday dinner at David and Jessica's place. Just the 4 of us, grilling on their patio, drinking wine, laughing about nothing. Everything normal, everything perfect, except Jessica went to bed early. She'd been quiet all evening, barely touched her food. When she excused herself around 9, David barely looked up. "She's probably just tired from work," he said, refilling his wine glass. Then he and Jennifer stayed up with me for another 2 hours, telling stories, making plans for the 4th of July. I remember Jennifer's hand on my knee under the table. I remember thinking how lucky I was, how good we all had it. I should have noticed that Jennifer and David sat across from each other, that their eye contact lasted just a beat too long. That when Jennifer laughed at David's jokes, she touched her hair, but I didn't notice, because I trusted them. I built everything on trust, and they built their affair on my foundation. July came, then August. Small things changed, but I rationalized every single one. Jennifer started working late more often. Networking events, she'd say. Client dinners, you know how it is. I did know. I worked late too. We were both building careers. That's what ambitious couples do, right? She bought new lingerie, started going to the gym 5 times a week instead of 3. Came home glowing, energized, more interested in sex than she'd been in months. I thought she was just feeling good about herself. I even complimented her. "You look amazing, babe." She'd smile and kiss me, and I'd feel like the luckiest guy in Austin. Her phone habits changed too. Always face down on the table now. Took calls in the other room. Stayed up late texting while I was already in bed. When I asked who she was talking to, she'd say, "Just work stuff," or "Jessica's having a rough day." I told myself I was being paranoid, jealous, for no reason. I'd read too many Reddit posts about cheating wives, and now I was seeing shadows where there was only light. Trust is everything, I kept telling myself. Without trust, you have nothing. David started acting weird too, but differently. He became accommodating, almost too accommodating. "Take your time with those quarterly reports, Rob. No rush, man." He'd offer to take meetings I usually handled. He'd suggest I take long lunches, take afternoons off. "You work too hard, brother. Live a little." At the time, I thought he was being a good partner, a good friend. Now I know he was just buying time with my wife. Memorial Day weekend was when I should have known. Both couples went to the lake house, like we did every year. It should have been perfect. Grilling, swimming, drinking beer on the dock. But it felt off. Jennifer and David disappeared one afternoon. "Going to get ice," they said. They were gone for 45 minutes. I was helping Jessica with lunch when I noticed. She noticed too. She went quiet, stared out the window at the lake. "They're probably just taking the scenic route," I said. Jessica didn't respond. That night I found Jennifer's phone on the dock. She'd left it there after going inside to shower. It was face up, and a text notification flashed on the screen. From D. "Can't wait to." Then the screen locked. I stood there holding her phone, my heart pounding, trying to convince myself it was nothing. D could be anyone, her friend Dana, her co-worker Diane. It could be about anything. A work project, a surprise party. I put the phone back where I found it. Didn't mention it to Jennifer, didn't mention it to anyone. Because what was I going to say? I saw half a text message. I felt crazy even thinking about it. That's the insidious thing about betrayal. It makes you doubt your own sanity before you doubt the person you love. Summer passed. We got busy with the business. The funding round was approaching. David and I worked 70-hour weeks. I barely saw Jennifer except when we collapsed into bed at night. She seemed fine with it. "Do what you need to do, babe," she'd say. "I'll hold down the fort." I thought she was being supportive. It turns out she was just relieved I wouldn't be home. August 15th changed everything. It was a Tuesday night around 11 p.m. I was at home in our apartment in Mueller, working on quarterly reports for our board. Jennifer had already gone to bed, or so I thought. David was supposedly on a business trip to Dallas. I was reviewing our company's American Express statements, cross-referencing with receipts, making sure everything was categorized correctly for our investors. Boring CFO stuff, numbers and spreadsheets and line items. Then I decided to check our personal finances while I was at it. We had joint accounts, checking, savings, credit cards. We'd always been transparent about money. No secrets. That was the deal. I logged into our bank account and pulled up Jennifer's Venmo history. I don't even know why. Probably just wanted to see what she'd spent money on recently. Make sure we weren't bleeding cash anywhere. She used Venmo for everything. Splitting dinner checks, paying her share of yoga class, that kind of thing. I scrolled through the transactions. Normal stuff at first. $20 to her friend Sarah for brunch, $15 to her coworker for coffee, $35 to the yoga studio. Then I saw it. A payment to David M. for $200. The note said, "Thanks for dinner, Osites," with a wine glass emoji, posted at 11:47 p.m. on a Wednesday 3 weeks ago. I stared at it. My vision started to tunnel. Why would Jennifer be paying David $200 for dinner at midnight? Why would they be having dinner together without Jessica and me? I scrolled up. More payments to David, $150. Last weekend was perfect, $85. Coffee run, another $200. Worth every second. The timestamps were wrong, all wrong. 1:23 a.m., 10:15 p.m., 2:07 a.m. These weren't coffee runs or dinners. These were, what? Reimbursements? For what? I felt my hands go numb. My heart was hammering so hard I could hear it in my ears. There had to be an explanation. Maybe they were planning surprise parties for Jessica and me. Maybe David was helping her buy gifts and she was paying him back. Maybe. But the emojis, the notes, the times. I looked at the calendar. Cross-referenced the dates. The $200 payment from 3 weeks ago. The night I worked late at the office. I'd come home at midnight and Jennifer was already asleep. Or pretending to be asleep. The last weekend was perfect payment. The weekend David told me he was at a conference in San Antonio. The weekend Jennifer told me she had a girls' trip with her friend Rachel. I pulled up Jennifer's Instagram, scrolled back to that weekend in June. She'd posted photos from San Antonio, the river walk, a nice restaurant, a hotel pool. Much needed girl time, the caption said. I opened a new tab, checked David's Instagram. He'd posted from San Antonio the same weekend. A photo of him at a business conference. Networking and learning, his caption said. Same city, same weekend, different stories for their spouses. I clicked through their Instagram interactions over the last 6 months. They liked each other's posts constantly. Comments that seemed innocent but now felt loaded. Looking good. Crushing it. Heart emojis. Fire emojis. I logged into our cell phone account. We had a family plan, me and Jennifer on one account, David and Jessica on another, but we'd combined them a year ago to save money. I could see everyone's usage. I pulled up the last 2 months of call logs and texts. Jennifer and David. 217 text messages in the last 60 days, 43 phone calls, most of them lasting 45 to 60 minutes. Calls at lunchtime, late at night, early in the morning before I woke up. I pulled up Jennifer's text log to me during the same period. 38 texts, most of them 1 or 2 words. Okay, love you. Working late. My wife was texting my business partner 6 times more than she was texting me. I closed the laptop, stood up, walked to the bathroom and threw up. Then I went back to the computer and started taking screenshots. I don't remember making the decision consciously. It was instinct. Document everything. Save everything. If this is what I think it is, I need proof. I worked until 4 in the morning, my wife asleep upstairs in our bed. I downloaded call logs, saved Venmo transactions, screenshot Instagram posts and comments, compiled everything into a folder on my laptop, then backed it up to 3 different cloud storage services. When I finally climbed into bed next to Jennifer, she rolled over and put her arm across my chest. "Love you," she mumbled, half asleep. I stared at the ceiling, her body warm against mine, and felt absolutely nothing. The next morning was Wednesday. Jennifer woke up bright and chipper, kissed me goodbye before heading to work. "Have a great day, babe," she said at the door. "You too," I said. My voice sounded normal. I was surprised by that. She left. I sat at the kitchen table with cold coffee and made a list. I could confront her now, demand to know what the Venmo payments meant, watch her scramble for an explanation. Maybe she'd tell me the truth. Maybe she'd lie. Either way, it would tip them off. They'd get careful, delete messages, coordinate their stories. Or I could wait, dig deeper, find out exactly how bad this was before I made a move. I thought about the business. 8 employees counting on us. $2 million in funding on the line. Investors who trusted us. If David and Jennifer were having an affair, it could destroy everything. Not just our marriages, but the company too. I thought about Jessica, David's wife, Jennifer's sister. If this was happening, she deserved to know, but if I was wrong, if there was somehow an innocent explanation, I'd blow up her marriage for nothing. I needed to be sure, absolutely certain. Before I destroyed everything, I needed proof that couldn't be denied. So, I decided I would investigate. Quietly, carefully. I would be the boring, reliable Robert everyone expected, and I would gather every single piece of evidence until the truth was undeniable. I finished my coffee, opened my laptop, and got to work. Over the next 2 weeks, I became someone I didn't recognize. Someone methodical, cold, calculating. I set up email forwarding on our shared iPad. Jennifer used it for personal email sometimes, logged in and left herself signed in. Now every email she received got copied to a hidden account I created. Within 3 days, I hit gold. An email thread between Jennifer and David. Subject line, Lake House Weekend. Jennifer's email dated July 20th. I can't stop thinking about last Saturday. We need to be more careful, but God, I don't want to be. Miss you already. David's response. Same. Jessica's working all weekend next month. Maybe we can tell Rob you have a work thing. I read it 5 times. Then I took a screenshot, saved it to my evidence folder, and closed the laptop. I walked outside into the August heat, made it to the bushes beside our apartment before I threw up again. Then I went back inside, made a sandwich, ate it, went back to collecting evidence. I pulled up every social media platform, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. I went through months of posts, comments, likes. I documented patterns, saved everything. I found photos of Jennifer at restaurants David had also posted from, different nights but same locations. How many work dinners and client meetings had actually been dates. I checked our joint credit card statements, found charges for hotels, nice ones, 4-star places in Austin, San Antonio, Houston. The dates matched Jennifer's work trips and girls' weekends. I looked at David's business expense reports. He'd been charging hotels to the company card, our company card. He was literally using our business to fund his affair with my wife. $8,400 in questionable charges over the last 6 months. I documented every single one. That's when I made my next decision. I needed professional help. I took a long lunch, drove across town to a law office in downtown Austin. I'd Googled Best Divorce Attorney Austin and found Sarah Chen, 42, family law specialist, 5-star reviews, reputation for aggressive representation. I'm not ready to file, I told her in our consultation. I just need to know my options. She listened, reviewed the evidence I'd brought, printouts, screenshots, timeline. When I finished, she leaned back in her chair. Mr. Mitchell, this is one of the most comprehensive evidence packages I've seen from someone who hasn't hired a PI yet. So it's enough for a divorce. Absolutely. Texas is a no-fault state, but evidence of infidelity can impact property division and alimony. With this level of documentation, you're in a strong position. What about the business? She flipped through the expense reports. If he used company funds for personal expenses, including funding an extramarital affair, that's misappropriation. You could make a case for removal and forfeiture of equity, depending on your operating agreement. I felt something cold settle in my chest. Not satisfaction exactly, more like clarity. I want to wait, I said. Gather more evidence. Make sure it's airtight. How long? Until Thanksgiving. She looked up. That's 3 months away. I know. Why Thanksgiving? I met her eyes. Because that's when both families will be together. No separate conversations. No he said, she said. Everyone hears the truth at the same time. Sarah Chen smiled. It wasn't a nice smile. You want to hire me for when you're ready? Yes. Then let's talk retainer. I left that office with a divorce attorney on standby and a plan taking shape in my mind. But I still needed more. I needed absolute proof, the kind that couldn't be explained away or denied. So I hired a private investigator. His name was Marcus Webb, 50-something, former police detective. I found him through a referral from Sarah's office. We met at a coffee shop in South Austin. "What's your goal here?" he asked after I explained the situation. "Photographic evidence, surveillance, confirm the affair beyond any doubt." "You already have enough to file for divorce." "I know, but I need them to know that I know everything. I need proof they can't talk their way out of." Marcus studied me. "This is about more than just divorce, isn't it? They made a fool out of me. In front of our families, in our business. I want them to face every single person they lied to and have no escape. Revenge." "Justice," I corrected. He nodded slowly. "I can do that, but it's going to cost you. I don't care what it costs." Marcus started surveillance on September 1st. Within a week, he confirmed what I already knew in my gut. September 7th, Jennifer left work at 6 p.m., met David at the Hyatt Regency downtown, entered together through the parking garage, separate cars, but they walked in together. Marcus got photos. They left separately, 3 hours later. Jennifer came home at 10:30 p.m., told me she'd been at a networking event. September 14th, same hotel. This time Jennifer parked in a different garage, but Marcus tracked them both. 2 hours this time. September 21st, they broke pattern. Met at a boutique hotel in the Hyde Park neighborhood. Stayed 4 hours. Marcus got photos of them entering the room, kissing in the doorway before the door closed. When I saw those photos, I felt nothing. I'd already grieved. Now I was just numb. September 28th, my birthday. Jennifer threw me a surprise party. Invited our friends, David and Jessica, co-workers. Everyone sang happy birthday. Jennifer gave me a watch she'd bought. A nice one, expensive. She kissed me in front of everyone. I wore that watch to my next meeting with Marcus and handed him cash for another month of surveillance. October brought a new challenge, maintaining the facade. Jennifer had no idea I knew, neither did David. I went to work every day, worked side by side with the man sleeping with my wife. We had meetings about the funding round, made business decisions, went to lunch. I acted normal, acted like his friend. At night I went home to Jennifer, made dinner, watched TV, made love to her when she initiated. I played the role of devoted husband while documenting everything she did. It was the hardest thing I've ever done. Every kiss felt like poison. Every "I love you" was a knife in my chest. But I held it together, because I had a plan. October 5th brought the next piece. Jennifer sent an email to the family group chat. Me, David, Jessica, both sets of parents. "Can't wait to host Thanksgiving this year. Let's do it at our place. Who's bringing what?" Everyone responded enthusiastically. Jessica volunteered to bring dessert. Jennifer's parents said they'd bring wine. David's mom said she'd make her famous stuffing. Jennifer, sitting next to me on the couch, squeezed my hand. "This'll be great. Our first time hosting both families." "Yeah," I said. "It'll be unforgettable." She smiled and went back to her phone, probably texting David. I opened my laptop and created a new document. Titled it, Thanksgiving Plan. The next 6 weeks were calculated, precise. I became a different person. Or maybe I just became who I needed to be. I met with our startup's lead investor, Michael, told him everything, showed him the evidence of David's misappropriated expenses. "Jesus, Robert," he said, looking through the printouts. "I'm so sorry, man. I need to know the company will survive this." "What do you need?" "David out. Immediately after I expose this. Board meeting scheduled for the Monday after Thanksgiving. I'll present the financial evidence. He gets removed, forfeits his equity per our morality clause. I stay on as CFO with increased equity. We find a new CEO." Michael was quiet for a long moment. "You've thought this through." "I've had months to think about it." "He'll fight it." "No, he won't. 'Cause if he fights it, I'll go to the press, the investors, everyone, and he knows I have the evidence to bury him." Michael nodded slowly. "Okay, I'll back you. Board meeting is set." That was the business handled. Next came the hardest part. Jessica. I debated for days whether to tell her beforehand. On one hand, she deserved to know. On the other, if she knew and confronted David, it could ruin the Thanksgiving reveal. But ultimately, I decided she had a right to the truth before that dinner. She was a victim, too. November 12th. I texted Jessica. "Hey, can we grab coffee? Want to run something by you?" She agreed. We met at a coffee shop near her office that afternoon. "What's up?" she asked, sliding into the booth across from me. I pulled out a folder, placed it on the table between us. "Jess, I need to tell you something, and it's going to hurt." Her face went pale. "What is it?" "Your husband is having an affair with my wife." The words hung in the air. Jessica stared at me, then at the folder, then back at me. "That's not funny, Robert. I know it's not a joke." I opened the folder, showed her everything. The Venmo transactions, the emails, the phone logs, the photos from the PI, her husband and my wife entering hotel rooms, kissing, holding hands. Jessica was silent for a long time. She looked through every piece of evidence, slowly, methodically. Her hands were shaking. Finally, she looked up, tears streaming down her face. I knew something was wrong. I thought I was going crazy. "You're not crazy." "How long?" "At least since March. Maybe longer." She closed the folder, stared at her coffee. "What are you going to do?" "I'm going to expose them at Thanksgiving dinner, in front of both families." Her head snapped up. "What?" "I want them to face everyone they lied to at once. No separate conversations where they can control the narrative. No gaslighting, just the truth." "That's... Robert, that's brutal. They made fools of both of us, in front of our families. I want them to feel what we felt." Jessica was quiet. Then, "What do you need from me?" "Just be there. Back me up when I present the evidence. Don't let them claim I'm making it up or that I'm crazy." She nodded slowly. "Okay." "I'm also filing for divorce the Monday after. My attorney's already prepared everything. You might want to consult with someone too." "I will." We sat there for another hour, both of us victims of the same betrayal, both of us planning to take our lives back. When we left, Jessica hugged me. "Thank you for telling me, for not making me find out in front of everyone without warning. We're in this together now." She nodded. "Burn them down, Robert." The next week I created the presentation. I actually made a PowerPoint. It felt darkly appropriate, like I was pitching to investors, except I was pitching the destruction of 2 marriages and a business partnership. The title slide, "A Timeline of Betrayal, What I'm Thankful for This Year." I included everything, every piece of evidence chronologically organized. Venmo transactions, emails, text message logs, hotel receipts, photos from the PI, the works. The final slide, what happens next, with bullet points. Divorce papers filed Monday morning. David removed from company. Equity forfeited. All evidence forwarded to respective attorneys. Lake house sold. Proceeds split between Robert and Jessica. I practiced the presentation. Timed it. Made sure every slide was clear. Every piece of evidence undeniable. I felt nothing, no satisfaction, no anticipation, just cold determination. The week before Thanksgiving was surreal. Jennifer was excited, planning the menu, buying decorations. She was happy, genuinely happy. Or maybe she was just relieved she'd gotten away with it for so long. We went shopping together for ingredients, cooked prep meals together. Had sex twice that week. She initiated both times. I went through the motions, memorized her face. Not because I'd miss her, but because I wanted to remember what she looked like before. November 27th, the day before Thanksgiving. Jennifer was cooking in the kitchen, humming to herself. I was in the living room, reviewing the presentation one last time. My phone buzzed. Text from Jessica. "Still in," I replied. "All the way." Jessica. "I haven't slept in 2 days." Me. "Me neither." Jessica. "Thank you for this, for not letting them get away with it." Me. "We deserve better, both of us." That night, Jennifer and I went to bed. She curled up against me. "I'm excited for tomorrow," she whispered, "having everyone together." "Me too," I said. She fell asleep. I stayed awake, staring at the ceiling, running through the plan over and over. Tomorrow everything would end. Tomorrow the truth would finally come out. Tomorrow I would destroy the life I thought I had, because it was built on a lie, and I'd rather have ruins than live in a beautiful illusion. I didn't sleep at all that night. Thanksgiving morning, 6 a.m. I got up, made coffee, sat in the living room alone. I looked at the presentation one last time, added one final slide at the beginning, a photo from last Thanksgiving, all 4 of us together at the lake house, smiling at the camera. Happy, or pretending to be. The caption: 1 year ago, I thought I knew these people. My phone buzzed. Jessica. I'm terrified. Me. Me too. But it's time. Jennifer woke up around 8, came into the living room in her pajamas, kissed my cheek. "Morning, babe. Ready for the big day." "More than you know," she laughed. "You're so dramatic. It's just Thanksgiving." "Right," I said. "Just Thanksgiving." The guests started arriving at 3 p.m. Jennifer's parents came first. Linda and Tom, both in their early 60s, warm and loving people who'd always treated me like a son. Linda brought pie, apple and pumpkin. Tom brought 3 bottles of wine, already making jokes about needing them to survive family dinner. I hugged them both, felt sick doing it. They had no idea their daughter had destroyed our marriage. David and Jessica arrived at 3:30. David was all smiles, handshakes, bearing gifts. A fancy bottle of bourbon for me, flowers for Jennifer. He hugged me. "Happy Thanksgiving, brother." I hugged him back, felt his betrayal like a physical weight. "You too." Jessica met my eyes over David's shoulder. She looked pale but composed. David's mother, Carol, arrived last. 72 years old, sweet woman who'd been widowed 5 years ago. She loved family gatherings, loved seeing her son and his wife together. She brought flowers, hugged everyone. By 4 p.m., everyone was in our apartment. Jennifer's playlist going, wine flowing, everyone laughing and talking in the kitchen. I watched them all. These people I loved. These people who were about to have their worlds destroyed. Jennifer was in her element, hosting, laughing, telling stories. She looked beautiful, happy. She caught my eye across the room and smiled at me. Mouthed, "Love you." I smiled back. Mouthed, "Love you too." It was the last time I'd ever say that to her. Dinner went perfectly. The turkey was amazing. The sides were delicious. Everyone ate, drank, laughed. Tom told embarrassing stories about Jennifer and Jessica as kids. Carol talked about Thanksgivings past. David toasted to family and partnership. I raised my glass, smiled, and waited. By 7:30, everyone was full and happy, gathered in the living room for pie and coffee. This was it. This was the moment. "Hey, everyone," I said, standing up. "Before we dig into dessert, I wanted to show you all some highlights from this year. I put together a little presentation." Jennifer looked up from serving pie. "Oh, babe, that's sweet. I love our photos." "I thought you would," I said. I connected my laptop to our TV. Everyone settled into their seats. Jennifer sat next to me on the couch, her hand on my knee. First slide. The photo from last Thanksgiving, all of us together at the lake house. "Aw," Linda cooed. Then the caption appeared. 1 year ago, I thought I knew these people. Confused silence. Second slide. A nice photo of Jennifer and me at our anniversary dinner in March. Jennifer's mom. You two are so beautiful together. Third slide appeared. A timeline of betrayal, what I'm thankful for this year. The room went silent. Robert, David said slowly. What is this? Just watch, I said. Slide 4, timeline graphic. March 2023. Affair begins between Jennifer Mitchell and David Morrison. Jennifer's hand left my knee. Rob, stop this. Sit down, Jen, I said calmly. Jessica, from across the room, quiet but firm. Let him finish. Slide 5. First Venmo screenshot. Jennifer to David, $200, wine glass emoji. Thanks for dinner. Timestamp, 11:47 p.m. What is that? Linda asked, confused. Slide 6. Hotel exterior. Hyatt Regency, downtown Austin, September 7th. Timestamp, 6:15 p.m. Slide 7. Jennifer and David entering the hotel, his hand on her lower back, her smiling up at him. The room erupted. What the hell? Tom started. Is this real? Linda asked, her voice breaking. Jennifer stood up, coffee cup clattering to the floor. Stop it! Stop the presentation! No, I said, still calm, still cold. Slide 8. Email screenshot. Jennifer to David. I can't stop thinking about last Saturday. We need to be more careful, but God, I don't want to be. Jennifer started crying. Please, Rob, please stop. David stood up. This is insane. You're taking things out of context. I laughed. Actually, laughed. Out of context. Let me give you context. Slide 9. Phone logs. 217 text messages between Jennifer and David in the last 60 days. 43 phone calls. Jennifer! Linda's voice was shaking. Tell me this isn't real. Jennifer just stood there, crying, hands covering her face. Slide 10. Calendar overlay. Jennifer's work trips and girls' weekends matched perfectly with David's business trips. San Antonio in June, I narrated, my voice steady. Dallas in July, Houston in August. Except, David, you were never alone on those trips, were you? David tried to leave. I don't have to listen to this. I stood up, blocked the door. Yeah, you do, because I'm not done. Slide 11. More photos, different hotels, different dates, 4 months of surveillance photos. Carol, David's mother, was crying now. David, what is this? What did you do? Mom, I can explain. David started. Explain what? Jessica's voice cut through. She stood up. Explain how you've been sleeping with my sister for 8 months. Explain how you've been lying to all of us. Slide 12. Business expense report. $8,400 in inappropriate company charges. And here's the best part, I said. David didn't just betray me as a brother-in-law and business partner. He stole from our company. Used our business funds to pay for hotels where he slept with my wife. The room was chaos now, everyone talking at once. Tom. Jennifer, how could you? Linda, to Jessica. Did you know? Jessica, I found out 2 weeks ago. Robert showed me everything. Carol, I raised you better than this, David. David, trying to salvage. It wasn't, we didn't plan this, it just happened. It just happened. Jessica's voice was like ice. For 8 months, Jennifer was hyperventilating. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, we were going to tell you both. When? I asked. After you drained the business? After you what? Ran away together. It wasn't like that, Jennifer screamed. We love each other. The words hit the room like a bomb. Silence. Then Linda started crying. Tom put his arm around her, his face dark with fury. I advanced to the final slide. What happens next? Bullet points appeared on screen. Divorce papers filed Monday morning. David removed from company. Equity forfeited per morality clause. All evidence forwarded to attorneys. Lake house sold. Proceeds split between Robert and Jessica. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone, I said quietly. I'm thankful I found out before I wasted any more years. Jennifer's parents left immediately. Linda was sobbing.
Tom wouldn't even look at Jennifer. They hugged me on their way out. Carol left with Jessica, crying the whole way. She chose Jessica over her own son in that moment. That's how clear the betrayal was. David tried to talk to me. "Rob, please, we can fix this. The company—" "Get out of my home," I said. "Robert, come on, we're family." "We're done. You're removed from the company effective immediately. The board already knows everything. You're out." His face went white. "You can't do that. Check our operating agreement, morality clause, misappropriation of funds. You're done, David." Jennifer was sitting on the floor, sobbing. "Rob, please, can we just talk?" I looked down at her. This woman I'd loved, this woman I'd built a life with. I felt nothing. "Everything you need to know is in the email my attorney sent you 10 minutes ago. You'll be served with divorce papers Monday morning. Please, I want you out of this apartment tonight. Pack what you need. Jessica and I are selling the lake house. You'll get half the proceeds after the divorce is final, minus what you owe me for the affair expenses I can prove." Jessica paused at the door, looked back at me. Our eyes met. "Thank you," she said quietly, "for showing me the truth." I nodded. She left. David followed her out, still trying to explain, apologize, something. By 11 p.m., I was alone. The turkey was still on the table, pie untouched, wine glasses abandoned. I sat on the couch, poured myself a whiskey, and looked at the TV. The presentation was still on the final slide. I toasted the empty room. To trust. I'd won. I'd exposed them. I'd gotten my revenge. So why did I feel so hollow? I thought destroying their lies would make me feel better. It didn't. It just created different pain. That night was the longest of my life. Jennifer came back around 2 a.m. with her friend Sarah, packed 2 suitcases of clothes and essentials. Didn't say a word to me. Just cried and packed while Sarah gave me dirty looks. When they left, I sat in the bedroom we'd shared for 4 years, looked at the empty closet, the bed that suddenly felt too big. I'd built my entire life on trust, and they'd built their affair on my foundation. Now it was all ruins. But at least they were honest ruins. The next few days were a blur. My phone exploded with messages, family members, friends, mutual acquaintances. Everyone had opinions. Most people supported me. "You did the right thing. They deserved it. I'm so sorry, man." A few people thought I'd gone too far. "Did you have to do it at Thanksgiving? In front of his mother? That was cruel, Robert." Maybe it was cruel. I don't know. I don't particularly care. Monday morning, as promised, divorce papers were filed. Jennifer was officially served at work, messaged me. Was this necessary? I didn't respond. That same Monday, David was formally removed from the company. Board meeting lasted 20 minutes. Michael presented the evidence of misappropriated funds. David tried to defend himself. The vote was unanimous. He was out. His equity forfeited. He'd get nothing when the company eventually exited. I became sole founder. The investors actually increased my equity stake. "We trust you, Robert. You have integrity." Integrity. Funny word. I'd lied to everyone for 4 months to set up my revenge. But because I was on the right side of the betrayal, it was called integrity. The first month was hell. Jennifer tried to contact me constantly. Apology texts, voicemails crying. Her friends reached out on her behalf. I blocked her number, blocked her email. All communication went through attorneys. Her parents reached out. Linda called me, crying. "I'm so sorry for what she did. We raised her better. I don't understand." "I don't either," I said. "Are you okay?" "I will be." I wasn't okay. I was drinking too much, working too much, sleeping 3 hours a night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw them together, but I was functioning. That counted for something. David's career imploded. Word spread fast in Austin's startup scene. Small community. Everyone talks. Other VCs heard about the guy who stole from his company to fund an affair. He got a job at a smaller startup within a month. Lower title. 40% pay cut. His LinkedIn profile got flooded with connection removals. Jennifer's career took a hit too. Her marketing firm didn't fire her. No policy violation. But suddenly she was on different projects. No more client-facing roles. No more happy hours with the team. I heard through mutual friends that she'd become a pariah at work. Good. The lake house sold in December, split the proceeds with Jessica, 50-50 just like we'd originally agreed. Each of us got $60,000 after fees, blood money, but I took it. Jessica and I became unlikely allies. We texted almost daily, met for coffee once a week. Trauma bonding, my therapist would later call it. Oh yeah, I started therapy, first week of December. My first session I told Dr. Hernandez everything. I thought I'd feel victorious, I said. I just feel empty. Revenge doesn't heal wounds, she said. It just inflicts them elsewhere. Healing is different work. I didn't want to hear that, but I kept going back. By Christmas, things had settled into a new, terrible normal. Jennifer was living with a friend in South Austin. David was in a cheap apartment near his new job. Jessica was in their old house. She'd gotten it in the separation agreement. I stayed in our apartment. Our old apartment. I should have moved. Every room had memories, but I was stubborn. I'd built this life. I wasn't going to abandon it. Christmas Eve, I got a call from the hospital. 2 a.m. Jennifer's name on the screen. She'd had a severe panic attack. Called 911, still had me listed as her emergency contact. Hadn't updated it. I drove to the ER. Legally still her spouse until the divorce finalized. Found her in a bed, hooked up to monitors, hyperventilating. When she saw me, she broke down completely. I can't do this anymore, she gasped between sobs. I can't breathe. I can't sleep. Everyone hates me. The doctor pulled me aside. Panic attack, triggered by acute stress. She's been having them frequently. I sat with her for 2 hours. Didn't say much, just sat there while she cried. I'm so sorry, she said over and over. I know you hate me. I hate me. I don't hate you, Jen, I said finally. I'm just done. Her friend Sarah arrived around 4 a.m. I left. Driving home, I had my first real crisis of conscience. Was I the villain in this story? Jennifer was clearly falling apart. David's mother had been hospitalized for 2 days after Thanksgiving. Panic attack, heart palpitations, all from the shock I'd delivered. Had I gone too far? I thought about it for days, talked to Dr. Hernandez about it. Do you regret it? She asked. I regret that it had to happen at all, I said. But no. They needed to face everyone. They needed to answer for what they did to all of us. If I'd done it privately, they could have controlled the narrative. Lied, made me look crazy. So, it was about truth. It was about making sure no one could deny the truth. Dr. Hernandez nodded. That's different than revenge. Is it? You tell me. I didn't have an answer. Jessica called me that same week. She was crying. I can't go to my parents' house. There are pictures of all of us everywhere. I can't look at them. We met for coffee. She'd lost weight, wasn't sleeping, had dark circles under her eyes. Do you regret it? She asked me. The way you did it. I regret that it had to happen at all, but no. They needed to face everyone. We both deserved that. I'm glad you did it, she said. I don't think I'd have had the strength. You would have. No. I would have let them gaslight me. Convince me I was crazy. You gave me proof. You gave me witnesses. We sat in silence for a while. We're going to be okay, I said, not sure if I believed it. Eventually, she said. New Year's Eve, I was alone in my apartment, reflecting on the year. This time last year, I was at David and Jessica's house, drinking champagne with Jennifer, making resolutions, talking about the future. Now that future was ashes. My phone buzzed. Text from Jennifer. I'm sorry for everything. I hope you find happiness. I stared at the message for a long time. Didn't respond. Another text. This one from Jessica. Thank you for this year. I know that's weird to say, but you saved me from a lie. I replied. We saved each other. Jessica. Here's to next year, me. Here's to surviving this one. At midnight, I was on my balcony, watching fireworks over Austin, drinking whiskey, thinking about everything that had happened. I'd destroyed their lives. Mine was in pieces too, but somewhere under the rubble, I was starting to find something, not happiness, not peace, but maybe possibility. January brought therapy in earnest, twice a week at first. Dr. Hernandez didn't let me off easy. You're using work as a distraction, she said one session. Better than drinking. You're doing that too. She wasn't wrong. I was working 70-hour weeks and drinking bourbon most nights. Not sustainable. What are you avoiding? She asked. Feeling anything. And how's that working out? I laughed bitterly. Not great, but I kept going to therapy, kept showing up, started sleeping more, drinking less, letting myself actually feel things instead of staying numb. February brought the divorce finalization. Papers signed, settlement agreed. Jennifer got a cash settlement, less than she'd hoped for, given the infidelity and my attorney's aggressive tactics. I kept the apartment, most of our shared investments. It was done, legally over. We met at the attorney's office to sign. First time I'd seen Jennifer in person since the hospital. She looked different, thinner, sadder, older somehow. She tried to speak to me. Rob, There's nothing left to say, Jen. She nodded, signed the papers, left. That night I took off my wedding ring for the final time, put it in a drawer, felt nothing. The company closed the funding round in March, $2.3 million, actually more than we'd initially sought. The investors cited my integrity and leadership in their decision.
We hired a new CEO, external candidate, someone with more experience than David ever had. I stayed as CFO, did what I was good at. The company hired 5 more people.
We were growing, thriving even. You did it. Michael told me over drinks one evening. You saved the company. We saved the company, I corrected. No, Robert, you did. You could have walked away, started over somewhere else. But you stayed. You fought for it. I just nodded. Didn't know what else to say. Spring came. Austin was beautiful. I started running again. Started saying yes when friends invited me out. Reconnected with my college buddy Marcus. We started playing basketball every week with some guys from the neighborhood. Small steps, but steps forward. Jessica was doing better too. She'd started dating someone casually. Got promoted at work. We still met for coffee every couple weeks. Just friends now. 2 people who'd survived the same disaster. How's the dating scene? I asked her one afternoon in April. She laughed. Weird. I forgot how to do this. Same. Are you dating? Not yet. Not ready. She nodded. You will be. Eventually. Then May happened. I met Emily at a coffee shop downtown. Product designer, 33, new to Austin. We struck up a conversation in line. She was trying to decide between drinks. Asked my opinion. The cold brew's solid, I said. But if you want something sweet, the honey lavender latte is surprisingly good. She smiled. You sound like you've done extensive research. I'm a regular. We ended up sitting together, talking. She was funny, smart, easy to be around. When we left, I got her number. First date was mini golf and tacos. Low pressure. Fun. Emily didn't know my story at first. I was just Robert. Not Robert whose wife cheated with his brother-in-law, or Robert who nuked Thanksgiving dinner. Just Robert. Third date, I told her everything. We were at her apartment, drinking wine, and it just came out. She listened to the whole story without interrupting. When I finished, she was quiet for a moment. "That's a lot," she said finally. "Yeah, but I appreciate you telling me. I wanted you to know. Before this went any further." She studied me. "Do you still love her?" "No. I don't think I ever really knew her." "Are you ready to move on?" I thought about it. "I think so. I'm trying to be." She smiled. "That's honest. I can work with honest." We kept seeing each other. It was strange at first, letting someone new in, trusting again. But Emily was patient. And I was trying. June brought an unexpected encounter. I was at Whole Foods shopping for dinner, turned down the produce aisle, and there she was. Jennifer. We made eye contact. Both froze. She looked different. Thinner, yes, but also lighter somehow, like she'd let go of something heavy. She approached me. "Hi. Hi." Awkward silence. "You look good," she said. I'm glad. "How are you?" I asked. Surprised I actually wanted to know. "I'm okay, I'm in therapy." A lot of therapy. Trying to figure out who I am. "That's good. I know I can't fix what I did," she said, "but I am sorry, for real." I looked at her. This woman I'd loved. This woman who'd destroyed our marriage. I felt nothing. No anger, no love, just neutral. "I believe you," I said. "I hope you find what you're looking for." "You too." We went our separate ways. No drama, no tears. Just two strangers who used to be married. Walking to my car, I realized something. I'd healed. Not completely. Maybe never completely. But enough. Through mutual friends, I heard about David. He was still at the smaller startup, still struggling professionally. His divorce from Jessica had finalized. She'd gotten the house, most of their assets. He was dating someone new, apparently. Not serious. Someone told me he'd become really quiet. "Not the same guy anymore," they said. I felt nothing hearing that. Didn't wish him well. Didn't wish him ill. Just didn't think about him anymore. July, Dr. Hernandez asked me, "When you first came in, you said you felt empty. How do you feel now?" I thought about it. I feel like me. Not who I was before. But someone new, someone who trusts carefully, someone who knows his worth. "That's not emptiness," she said. "That's wisdom." Maybe she was right. Emily asked me to meet her family in late July. Big step. I was nervous. "You don't have to if you're not ready," she said. "I'm ready," I told her. "I'm not the same person I was a year ago. But I'm okay with who I'm becoming." She kissed me. "Good, because I really like who you're becoming." Which brings me to now. Thanksgiving, 2024. I'm at Emily's family dinner. Her parents, siblings, nieces, and nephews. It's warm, loud, normal. Football on TV, kids running around. Her mom makes incredible stuffing. Emily squeezes my hand under the table. I squeeze back. A year ago, I was serving truth alongside turkey, watching two marriages and a business partnership die in my living room. This year, I'm just here, present, grateful. Someone asks me to say what I'm thankful for. I look around the table, these people who've welcomed me, who don't know the full story and don't need to. I'm thankful for second chances, I say, and for people who see who you are, not who you used to be. Emily smiles at me. I think about Jennifer, probably alone somewhere or with new friends who don't know her past. I think about David trying to rebuild a career and reputation that may never recover. I think about Jessica, hopefully happy with her new boyfriend Marcus. I think about last Thanksgiving, the presentation, the screaming, the crying, the truth exploding like a grenade in our families. People ask if I regret it, if I'd do it differently. Honestly, I don't know. All I know is that Thanksgiving 2023 ended the life I thought I had, and Thanksgiving 2024 started the life I actually want. I built my old life on trust, blind trust, naive trust.
I'm building this new one on truth.
There's a difference. Truth is harder. It requires seeing people clearly, flaws and all. It requires seeing yourself clearly too. I found my wife's affair through Venmo notes. I gathered receipts, and I wrecked her in divorce court. But more than that, I wrecked the lie and built something true. That's worth being thankful for.